Hi Christ Mission friends! Today we are so excited to have a great friend with us to share the Word of God. She is so creative and passionate for God and the next generation. Her name is Petrina! Yay! So, be blessed!
Hi Christmanship friends, today I want to share a devotion from 1 Samuel chapter 30, and I'm going to be reading from verses 1 to 8. Now when David and his men came to Ziklag on the third day, the Amalekites had made a raid against the Negeb and against Ziklag. They had overcome Ziklag and burned it with fire and taken captive the women and all who were in it, both small and great. They killed no one, but carried them off and went their way. And when David and his men came to the city, they found it burned with fire and their wives and sons and daughters taken captive. Then David and the people who were with him raised their voices and wept until they had no more strength to weep. David's two wives also had been taken captive, Ahinoam of Jezreel and Abigail, the widow of Nabal of Carmel. And David was greatly distressed, for the people spoke of stoning him, because all the people were bitter in soul, each for his sons and daughters. But David strengthened himself in the Lord. And David said to Abiathar the priest, the son of Ahimelech, "Bring me the ephod." So Abiathar brought ephod to David, and David inquired of the Lord, "Shall I pursue after this band? Shall I overtake them?" And he answered him, "Pursue, for you shall surely overtake and shall surely rescue." Now after David inquires of the Lord, he sets out to do what the Lord has done, and we see that the Lord follows through with what he said. Now, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you never seem to catch a break? It seems as though like one bad thing is happening after another. Well, David himself has found himself in this exact situation where he has his father-in-law Saul wanting him dead, and his enemies are chasing after him. And here he finds himself in this very unfortunate situation when they come back to the city and they find that, with his men, they find that their wives and children are taken captive, and obviously the men's souls are super bitter, rightfully so. And there was talk of stoning David. I mean, they have to find someone to blame, right? And it seemed as though David, the one who was leading them, was really a great target for their blame. Now David was distressed. I mean, if I was David, I'll be more than distressed. But you see, what's amazing is that his response was he chose to strengthen himself in the Lord. And what does strengthening himself in the Lord look like? It looked like him inquiring of the Lord. It looked like him holding on to the promise of God and doing what he said. Now, how David could have easily reacted would be one of fear. He could have just easily reacted in fear. I mean, you've got all the men talking about stoning him. He could have been scared. You see, fear is so characteristic of this world, and we see how a lot of people in this world are driven by fear, especially in this time of pandemic. We see that fear is something that's going on, and we know that fear-based reactions to pain is oftentimes instantaneous. You react without thinking. It just comes so naturally. When you hit your hand, the first thing that you say is ouch, right? It just comes so easily. And that's what it is with fear. That sometimes it just comes so easily. Now what David intentionally do to respond to the situation was the complete opposite, and this is some things that we can also learn as well. He chose to look to the Lord and not to the circumstances. He chose to involve God in the process, and he chose to follow his instructions. You see, we may not be able to control or change the circumstances that we find ourselves in, but we can choose to strengthen ourselves in the Lord. And when we strengthen ourselves in the Lord, that's when we find it easier to respond in faith, and we won't react in fear. If we see throughout Psalms, we see how it talks about us just being intentional to fix our eyes on God, to be intentional, to lift our eyes to him, to see him as the one who is there for us. You see, the Lord will provide the strength that we need. All we need to do is to reach out. So don't let your circumstances tell you how you should act or how you should feel. In the circumstances that you find yourself in, make a conscious effort to strengthen yourself in the Lord, to involve God in the process, to look to him and follow what he is saying. Because I'm telling you, his way is always better.